Ooh, 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 ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow League of Legends lovers and haters, welcome back. We are back once again to react to the newest set of patch notes to grace us in the game. I'm the best ADC in the world. If you ask anyone, I'm so good they don't even know me. But anyway, I'm here to bring my complex and somewhat sick mind to see the changes. So this is the patch following Mel's release. Patch, oh god, I hate the way they fucking say this shit now. 25.S1.3. So it's the third patch of the first season of 2025, which is kind of cool. Mel got immediately hotfixed on release. Aside from her, do I think there's any major outlying issues in the game right now? For some odd reason, I don't know why this is, and usually this doesn't last long, because if this is the case, then it's a problem. Skarner is for some reason really good. I've been playing Skarner. I tried playing Skarner Jungle, not that bullshit top. I don't know how it's good. I've tried spamming it. Maybe I'm just bad at it. I don't know. But aside from that, AR Earth is in full force. I've been playing a lot of that. Sadly, they still haven't fixed the battle pass to count for TFT for some odd reason. Maybe because they don't want the thematics to mix in with each other, because I guess Rift is Noxus themed, and then TFT is God knows whatever themed, I guess Arcane themed still, and they don't want people to get confused if that's the reason. If it is the reason, that's a stupid reason. But either way, once they fix that, things will be a lot better, because overall the pass is worse, the monetization is worse, the, what is it called, the exalted skins are worse, everything's basically worse, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about Mel even after the hotfix, and she is relatively worse, but I feel like she's weird. She's good in squishy teams. Against tanky teams, I feel like she does almost nothing. Besides that little root she does, I feel like she's so feast or famine. Very similar to Aurora, and kind of similar to Aurora, she's probably going to get gutted, but we'll see. But I'm almost positive we're going to get changes to Mel because people are complaining like crazy, because against squishies, she really blows them the fuck up. And sometimes it even looks unfair, almost near Aphelios levels. But either way, let's get right into it. Welcome to our first big champion balance patch of 25.S1. We're getting most of our systems tuned up and taking a much longer look at individual balance outliers as a result. Excuse me. We're taking the top three junglers, Viego, Skarner, and Wukong. Okay, so they are touching him. Down a peg. In terms of, I think, power, I think Skarner slash Viego is number 1 and 2. Wukong is last. I don't know why Wukong's good, man. Obviously, in AR Earth, he's crazy, but that's AR Earth. Re-adding substantial power to the Domination Tree after the recent rune replacements. Yeah, the Domination Tree is supposed to be about attacking and stuff, and they replaced it with all this rune and vision bullshit. It's like, what? That should be in another tree. That should probably be in, like, the blue tree or something. I don't know why it's in Domination, but either way. Delivering another systematic auto-attack buff through an increase in the global attack speed. Oh! Oh, wait, hold up. And further tuning down champion bounties for carries on the losing team. Whilst delivering a quick balance pass on various epic monsters, weakening Void Grubbies, Voracious Atakan, which is the hungry one, I think, right? Voracious means you're hungry. And Cloud Soul, while buffing Chemtech as the weakest performer. Another couple of dozen individual champion changes. Swift Play also has a round of updates. This is where, again, I wish they would say more of how Swift Play is different, rather than just blanket saying, oh, it's just faster. They've said it, I believe, in the patch notes before and when they first revealed it, but it's not actively there when you go to click on it, and I really dislike that. But hopefully we could get freshened up on it here. We also got another round of quick balance changes, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So sadly, we only have 2 new skins this patch. I have no clue what the skins are because, as always, rest in peace, Surrender 20. But it looks like we have Dumpling Darlings. So following the Chinese Lunar New Year, I guess we're still on that shit. Anyway, Mac OS OpenGL to Metal transition. So basically, the game is raising the bar. Cool. Streamer mode. Hold up. Wait, is this for me? Because I stream this live at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. With this patch, we're introducing a streamer mode. This will replace account names with the champion name from loading screen all the way through the end of the game from the view of the player that has this enabled. This addition is intended to help reduce the instance of things like stream sniping. I mean, stream sniping isn't going to ultimately help too much because If the other person doesn't have it on and they're in that stream, then they're gonna see, they're gonna know you're there, and then they're just gonna raid you. Like, both parties needs to have it enabled, but either way. This is the, okay, blah, 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 blah. To enable stream mode, all you need to do is go to interface settings and then health and resource bars. Oh? Wait, what? Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's what's fucking up. Okay, cool. So, attack speed cap. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This, to non-ADC players, has almost no relevance. To ADC players, I'm so fucking ready. I'm so fucking ready. I'm shocked by this. Thank God ADCs are getting fucking buffed. The average power level of champions has slowly risen over the last decade and a half of League. One place that hasn't always kept up is auto attacks, because carries suck! As effective health totals and ability damage have improved, and tankiness as well, it's time to make sure late game attacks can keep pace. And this is where, right, and let me just make sure I have my money where my mouth is. So this is the day before the patch, because the patch is coming out tomorrow, right? Let's take a look at the tier list. Oh god. Oh, bless me. So let's take a look at the tier list for bot lane. And by the tier list, I mean all the way at the bottom here. Kai'Sa, a traditionally hybrid carry, but mainly auto attack focused, unless you're going AP, which is gutted. Terrible. One of the worst ADs in the game. The fact that Kai'Sa is considered, by this metric, the worst AD in the game is insane. Jhin is his own special problem. That's a whole other video. Caitlyn, another straight auto-attacking one. Granted, I don't think she's really going to get to the 2.5 cap. Ashe is one who definitely could. Samira, no. Varus, yes. Aphelios, iffy. Kalista, eh. Zeri is her own problem. Mel is disgusting. Tristana, eh, not really. But a lot of the auto-attackers sometimes aren't doing well. Now, granted, Jinx is doing well, and she's the one who this is very much going to benefit. I doubt Twitch, but where's Kog'Maw? Kog'Maw is an A. Okay, cool, so Kog'Maw's not bad. But typically these vary a lot, and it was a couple patches ago, I think, where Jinx was really bad. But either way, this is amazing. But either way, we're bumping up the theoretical top-end DPS by an up to 20% buff. We think there's a hard cap in how fast champions should be able to attack in most cases. Belveth. Even in late game scenarios, they're playable for mere mortals, but we think 3 attacks per second is reasonable. Holy fucking shit. I mean, again, it's not a huge, ginormous buff. 20% is good, though. The biggest thing is, who does this really affect? Like I said, Kog'Maw, Jinx, maybe Twitch, depending on what support he has. But this is so good, because I feel like overall, and the biggest winner, I think, is Kog'Maw from this. Anyone who builds on hit 2, Vayne, possibly. But not really, because she doesn't really gain attack speed in her kit inherently, so she can't really hit the cap. But this buffs lethal tempo. This buffs traditional auto attack ADCs. This is amazing. This is great. This is epic. The only sad part is, I don't think we're ever going to get to the bonker situation that old lethal was. Old lethal tempo basically made it so you broke the attack speed cap when you were at max stacks. We're not getting that again, because that was absolutely broken. And then even more back in the day, Kog'Maw's W, when it was reworked, made it so when you activated it, you doubled your attack speed and I believe doubled the cap. I don't know if you removed it. I think you doubled it to 5. But you did 40% reduced damage because it was ridiculous. But man, this is great. God is good. Riot has finally heard our pleas. This is very, very nice. Holy shit. I don't think anything else is probably even going to match that. We're continuing to turn the champion bounties for losing teams, or wait, turn. I thought that meant tune, but okay. Oh no, they meant knob. Okay, this time more aggressively than the previous. There's still more room to go, blah, blah, blah. So what are they doing? Passive bounty suppression. Lead required to begin positive bounty suppression has been decreased. Lead required to fully remove bounties has been decreased. Once objective bounty spawn, champion bounties are now fully suppressed. Wow. So basically, if you're losing, if some of your team is winning, like if one person is doing good, they're not going to get punished from what I can understand. That's pretty cool. And look at how they say it, too. Want to further reduce the number of times one lone champion has a bounty trying to prop their team up like Atlas with Earth. Basically how Garen does it. But, okay, cool. So that's good. So even though you're doing good, if your whole team is losing, you're not going to be penalized for doing good. Which is nice. Because you need to try and make your team come back, and you're the only one who's doing alright. Anyway, Chemtech Soul. Chemtech is currently the worst performing Dragon Soul of them all. And it's kind of sad because it's almost like a The stats it gives aren't negligible, but you don't really notice it. Because if you're playing good, if you're playing perfectly, right, if you're healthy, which again, most of the time you're not going to be if you're fighting, but it's something that isn't always effective, where it's like, take a look at the other drags, right? Mountain, you're always tankier. Wind, you're always faster. Fire, you're always stronger. And then Ocean, Ocean is the odd one out. That one's really good for laning, but Ocean's kind of on the same level, but even then, it's really noticeable. It's really good. Chemtech Soul, and Chemtech in general, gives, I believe it gives tenacity, right? And heal and shield power? Or is it just shield power? I forget. But, this is where the increase, or sorry, the soul one, if you're below 50, you get 11% increased damage and damage reduction. That's going to 13. That's not bad. Again, the souls aren't supposed to be like, hey, we just stat check win you. But Chemtech Soul is a little, you know, underperforming. And the biggest thing is this game is meant to burst people. Like, a couple seconds really do matter. So if you're getting below 50% health, and I'm seeing this from an ADC's perspective, you're probably going to die in the next half second anyway. So for some people, this has no relevance. I guess for tanks and stuff, it does. But even then, if you're a tank, what does it matter if you're doing 13% more damage versus 11? It's like, okay. It's like the people this should be good on don't really get to, I think, use it because they just get bursted. Now, granted, the damage reduction should help with that, but it can't be too good. But either way, that's nice. So Cloud Soul is currently the best, no duh, because move speed is sleeper OP, although not so sleeper anymore. So the move speed gain is now going from 20% to 15%. The fact that this was passive was kind of crazy. 15 I think is fair, 20 is crazy. Grubbies! So I love Grubbies. I think this is my favorite epic jungle monster pre-Baron. Atakan is also a little bit up there, but also I really enjoyed Atakan. Atakan being on the Rift is like really, really nice. I like that there's more stuff to fight over. I think it's a nightmare for new players coming in, but Grubbies though, anything relating to Dot that helps you just on a macro level, I fucking love these. I'm shocked they're nerfing it, but I hope they're nerfing it in terms of like their health, not in terms of what they do, but let's see. We believe the Void Grubbies are currently too valuable, so we're nerfing their buff damage along with ensuring they correctly update their health and attack damage on spawn. Oh no! So the buff structure is 8/4 every 1 second for 4 seconds to 6/3 every 1 second for 4 seconds. Okay, so this is a nerf by 1 for ranged and then 2 for melee. That's honestly fine. I really do feel like these are super, super powerful, especially at max stacks. Your towers don't stand a fucking chance. Now, on the opposite foot, remember, now Nexus towers do respawn, but it's like at that point in the game, you're doing so much damage, and if you have grubs on top of that, these towers are not lasting like 5 seconds in bed. So, it is what it is. I think this is fair. Excuse me. So, Voracious Atakan. I forgot which one is this one. I think this is the GA one. So I really don't like this one. I think it's cool. I think it gives a nice little power play moment where you can do whatever the fuck you want. I think they nerfed it significantly where the enemy now gets decent gold if they kill you, even though it's basically a 0 timer respawn death. Let's be honest, right? Because the enemy still gets stuff if they kill you. It's just, you just come back. So we have been getting it more. I have been seeing Otacon more top lane, so their previous patches did do what they wanted it to do. However, I just really like the fact that the other one buffs epic monsters and it's more permanent. The only thing permanent with Voracious is the fact that you get more gold for killing people. But this doesn't necessarily help you kill people. The other one actually helps you. So I think it's okay. But what are they doing? I'm surprised they're actually nerfing it here, increasing the time it takes for players to get back into the map when false life withdrawal triggers. Oh, so they're kind of nerfing it from an instant respawn. So extra gold earned is from 40 to 25, so you have less of a Draven passive. Withdrawal now fully heals you as opposed to only fully healing your base health. What? That's crazy. And then the stasis duration is now 5.5 to 15. Usually this is early enough in the game where I don't think the instant respawn matters. Because I'm imagining like niche scenarios where they're pushing in on your base and you have this somehow, and then you go, they kill you, but then you just come back and like counter kill them. I can't imagine a lot of scenarios like that happen because it's so, well, it's not really early, but because it spawns at 20 minutes, I believe. But I mean 5.5 to 15, I think that's fair. Respawning, and they said the same thing with Akshan, and it is true. I think respawning really is a powerful thing. You know, that is like low key pretty strong. But either way, Otacon I think is fine. So far the nerfs have been reasonable and the buff to attack speed has got me horny. Cassiopeia. So Cassiopeia just recently got her skin for the Chinese Lunar New Year. So she's probably going to get buffed, but let's see. Cassiopeia was a strong performer before feats of strength, and she's still excellent after her recent nerf. Oh wow, never mind, she's getting nerfed. I haven't seen Cassiopeia at all, besides a nerf. We like to preserve her ability to take a few hits as a mid-range battle mage, prefers preserve Twin Fang. Okay, what are they doing? So the damage on Q is going down by 5%, that's nothing. And then the W on Miasma is going down by 5%. Okay, cool, so they're lightly slapping. Nice. Evelyn. So, I always say this about Evelyn, it's the same thing, and I actually got Evelyn in Earth a couple times, and I could see the whole fantasy, right? Number one, she's sexy as hell. When I play, I goon to her. Number two, though, one of the big issues is, for the amount of time you have to wait, it's almost like how LeBlanc used to be, or how she kind of is now. LeBlanc and Evelyn are champions where you kind of have to wait. Akali as well. Akali used to just burst you, now you kind of have to, like, have a second of counterplay, relatively. For the amount of time you have to wait, she shreds, right? Her kit is made for shredding. I've never seen a Nasus die faster to anyone else but an Evelyn. Or a max stack Veigar. But Evelyn does great. It's just really hard to perform on her. And this is where I think a lot of people won't be able to perform. If you perform well, you do good. But it's just so hard. And at that point, just use someone else. So Evelyn either needs to have an ease of access thing. Either make her charm... excuse me, ready to proc sooner, or just, I guess, up her numbers, but I don't think that's the problem. If you up her numbers, unless it becomes ridiculous, it's like, I really think her main issue is she's just hard to play for people, and she really doesn't get going till 6. Evelyn isn't doing very well, even those who correctly max Allure second, which is, I believe, her W. We like to buff her for all players, especially close the gap between intuitive E max and overall stronger W max, as she's already quite snowball-y. Relying on Medjais and Rabadons, we like to give her a bit more fallback. So let's see what they're doing. So her E, Jesus Christ, this looks like a math equation, is going up base damage, oh my god, by a lot. From 115 to 180, holy shit. And they're not changing anything else. Okay, so just base damage, wow. And then the Empower's from 175 to 240, holy shit. They're not touching scalings though, but wow. That base damage on the E is nothing to scoff at. Holy shit. 55 to 75. That's a whole 20. Pretty good. Not bad. Evelyn, thumbs up. Galio. Galio, I think, has been pretty good. He's been being used, I think, a lot. It's so sad I haven't been able to watch pro play because now they actually have to use different champions. So I'm assuming Galio is probably getting used a lot more. And Galio is overall a solid pick. He does good enough magic damage because they buffed him a lot with his Q. And he's still relatively tanky and a counter pseudo to AP. I think Galio is really good. I just don't see him too often, but that's because I'm kind of in shit low right now. But either way, I think Galio's nice. They're nerfing his health by 32. This is whatever. Kayn. Okay. As always, I always say this, and it always ends up being proven true. If you go blue Kayn, you're either trying to have fun or you're trolling. I think red Kayn is just so much far superior. Red Kayn's ridiculous if you go blue. And I had a guy go blue in my game, and we lost because of that. On top of other reasons. But, as always, look what they're doing. Shadow Assassin is weaker than fucking red, than Darken. No duh. It's always the case. Just by the nature of their kits. Shadow Assassin is always meant for assassinating, and Darken is meant for killing, but also living at the end of it. Whereas I guess Shadow Assassin's more for just picking out one person and just doing nuke damage instantly, bursting. But again, you could do the same thing with red over time and actually live to tell the tale. Either way, and you could also kill tanks. So, which isn't fair to this double edgelord. By ramping up his Q damage, we can ensure he'll become lethal when not playing as Rost, who replaces his Q anyway. So, the Q bonus AD is staying the same. The base damage is going up by 20. This is okay. Again, it's not 10, it's 20, so it's whatever, but okay. Jax. What do we think of Jax? I haven't really seen Jax. I think Jax is a fundamental character similar to Pantheon, except a little bit more complicated. Because you need to have really good base mechanics for Jax. So let's see what they're doing. Jax is weak at the low ranks because people don't know base mechanics. With the removal of Biscuit's mana, that doesn't sound right. Jax's mana issues have become more of a real problem. Wow. We're buffing mana regen to compensate. We're giving him a bit more health per level. Blah, blah, blah. Buffing his R. Oh, so let's see this. So his health growth is going up. His mana regen is growing up. And his R 3-hit damage is going up by 5. Up to 15. Late game. That's pretty good. The biggest thing is I think his R and obviously the mana. I don't really play Jax. I want to play Jax more, but when you play Jax, you kind of have to think, sadly. So Jax is cool though. I'm really glad he's getting this buff. That's nice. Bobby. So since we're done with Arcane, I'm surprised that Bobby is around and about. If I had to guess, maybe they overbuffed him from Arcane, so maybe they're nerfing him. But let's see. What? Tank Jace is over present in pro play? What? What kind of... I mean, listen, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm happy about these things because people are spicing up the game. Now, whether this is spicing up the game in terms of like, oh, like, you know, on-hit Katarina or something, right? Or tank Katarina. I think that's funny. I think that's cool. But if it's spicing up the game like what Zeri did, I think that's a little ridiculous. But I don't know which one it is because I haven't seen this. But this sounds crazy. Over time, a lot of Jace buffs have been base damage increases. We're pulling those back. So they're basically making it so you have to build AD. Cool. So his base damage is going down and his scaling is going down on his Q, on both Qs, on his W. It's only going down by 5 though, so that's whatever. And then R. Excuse me. Down by 15. Okay, cool. And then it scales harder. So I wonder if this is a net buff if you now build AD. I feel like it should be, but we'll see. Either way, Bobby is good. I don't see Bobbies. I hate Bobbies. MF. What do I think about MF? I think MF is one of the better ADs in the game, ironically enough, right now. She has a very, I don't want to say niche playstyle, but she has her own playstyle where it's almost kind of similar to Lucian. But on MF, the main thing you do is just ult and Q. Like, autos help, but after you auto something once, because of the passive love tap, it really feels like you're getting diminishing returns, and it feels kind of weird. MF is still good, it's just she's weird. But I think she's probably, like, middle upper of the pack. If you have a good team fight, if you have good tanks, which don't really exist in the bot lane anymore, sadly, but if you have, like, good engagers and good setups, I think MF really does thrive, and I think she's actually in a great spot. But let's see. We'd slowly like to trim down late game armor from the game over the course of the year, partially in effect to make physical lethality builds not fall off as steep off of a cliff as game goes on. Oh no, listen, keep lethality away from ADCs. That's for assassins. Let them have that. MF is one such champion who has room to siphon some armor away. Wow. She's overly strong in the laning phase, true. The brunt of this nerf is actually to her early game. Oh, because the less armor you have early, the more it matters. So that's cool. She's slightly squishier. I think that's fair because she is a lane bully. Oh my god, they're touching Nasus. So I've been meaning to play Nasus more and more. I feel like I gotta get a new feel for him with the new season and everything. But Nasus is interesting. He's also like one of the fundamental base characters. Again, kind of similar to Trend and to Jax. He's very like one-dimensional. You know what he's gonna do. You know how he's gonna do it unless he's going AP. And there's an easy way to stop him, and then late game he falls off a slight bit, but, you know, Nasus basically gives everyone a time limit. I fucking love Nasus. I hope they don't nerf him, but it looks like they're buffing him. Nasus got hit too hard from last nerf along with losing some power this season. We'd like to return some of his passive sustain, which should help him function. So basically this is just helping the early game. 9 to 12% all the way up from 21 to 24. It's small changes, but at this point I'm honestly wondering, should you just get a Vamp Scepter on top of this so you can't even die in lane? Like, this would be actually ridiculous. This is decent buff, though. This is really good for Nasus. Because over time, this leads to a lot of fucking healing. Great Nasus buff, though. Gwen, I hate this champion with a passion. Thankfully, whenever I've seen her, she sucked dick. I think I played York against her and I beat her ass, which is ironic because she's supposed to counter me. But I hate Quinn players. I think people who play Quinn are sacks of shit. And I want to see this champion gutted. And just go back into the bot lane. I actually used to like her as a bot laner, but I feel like she's ass. Quinn is quite weak right now and has to rely on burst lethality builds to get some semblance of good performance. Basically, that's the only thing she could do, run in and nuke you and then probably die. To squishies, at least. I'd like to return her basic attack prowess to her former glory. Just put her back bot, man. I feel like they need to give Quinn a rework because she's such a boring person. Like, she's a person who rides a bird, and don't get me wrong, it's okay. The thematic isn't terrible. But if someone's to get a VGU, first of all, it should be Zillion and Cho'Gath. But after that, I feel like they could really edge up Quinn. Like, her lore is just boring. Like, you know, maybe one day we'll get her fucking brother, Caleb, or whatever the fuck his name is, as a potential champion, too. But it's like, of all the Demacian people, she just rides a bird, and she's like a scout, I guess. Like, She's one of the more boring people. Gameplay-wise, I think she's alright. I think her gameplay's fun. It feels nice. It feels, powerful to just, run around at the speed of sound, like Sonic. But I definitely think she could be up for like a really good rework, hopefully if they nail down her thematic or something. Like make her a bird like a phoenix or something. She's so normal compared to what's like in League. By the way, what is quite okay, blah blah blah, I already read that. So what are they doing? Her attack speed is going up from 60 to 80. That's a pretty big buff. Early this does nothing, later on this does a good amount. Holy shit. Wow. Hopefully she builds crit. Rakan. I've seen Rakan a little bit. Not a great amount, but a little bit. The main issue is I don't think Xayah is too much in meta, so I think Rakan, ironically enough, can function without her. She can without him too. But you don't really see supports like him anymore, at least in my elo, so hopefully he gets a buff. Rakan is weaker than he ought to be for most League players, which means they're going to buff him. So what are they doing? The cooldown of his W is going down early by 2 seconds. I think that's good. I think it's nothing crazy. I think that's good. Rel. What do we think of Rel? I think Rel is pretty good. I'm seeing her a lot, especially in the little times I do watch pro play. So she's probably doing really, really good right now. I think Rel, and sadly I haven't played her, and she's one of the few champions I still don't understand because I haven't played her since her rework, which is, pretty long ago at this point. But when it comes to Rel, I think that she does well, but it's really, I don't want to say it's like Feast or Famine. It's very similar to Nautilus, but more AoE centric. She's better, harder Nautilus. I guess that's the main way I'd say it. But obviously in a pro's hand, she's really good, so she probably might get nerfed. Rel's power has swung back a bit, back and forth over the last few months. She's currently the #1 support for most League players. I like that. It's a shame I don't see her more often. I really love Rel. Sure, she's a bit of a loner, but that doesn't mean she should be standing far above everyone else. So they're nerfing her to make her a little squishier. That's fine. Oh my god, Samira. Okay, we have a lot to talk about with this. #1, and I'm always going to preach this, her fucking ultimate skin is not an ultimate. #2, I finally have a Samir skin thanks to the Battle Pass, but I'm kind of assuming a lot of these skins in the past are not 1350 quality, sadly. The Vlad one doesn't even have a back animation, which kind of tells you something. The effects are nice, though. But moving back to Samira here, I think Samira's decent. I think she's a lot harder to play than what she was. I always took her as like an alternative to Draven, right? If you want to snowball, if you want to go crazy, buck wild, just do damage aggressive, you play Samira, but sadly Samira is, I think, a little bit more reliant on engage CC supports than Draven is. Draven can really run the lane by himself if he is skilled enough and if the enemy support lets him. Samira kind of needs the backup of CC to really get full advantage. And Samira, in some ways, is easier than Draven overall because you don't have to catch axes. But in another way, there is tips and tricks to Samira, like when you can use the W, when you can go in. A little bit of a fundamental character similar to the top laners. Like, you need to know how to space when to go and when to not. But the biggest thing is, I think she's a shadow of her former self. I think the amount of damage she used to dish out was really big, and she's very, very easily counterable. And this is the biggest bullshit, right? Mel, who just came out, has a reflect that is highly controversial, to say the least, that lasts for a full second and gives her move speed and reflects everything back at you, so it kills you too. Samira's W is an AoE thing, similar to Mel's, except a little bigger. And it just blocks everything. It doesn't do anything else, doesn't give you move speed, doesn't return it, just blocks it, that's it. And they nerfed that to 0.75 seconds. It's like, huh? Because Samira also has to go in. She's low range. Like, most of her damage is going to come when she's ulting, when she's right on top of you. So she's an AD who has to go in, so she's easily CCable. And I feel like just give the W another, like, 0.25 seconds back. Like, look at Mel and look at Samira. How is that allowed? But Samira also, she got buffed with her ult, but nerfed in different ways. She doesn't lifesteal as much. I feel like the biggest thing is, if you're able to get off the ult, if you're not taken out of the ult, it should clear the fight. Straight up. Now I feel like it doesn't do that. Maybe they want to incentivize getting multiple ults to fight, but I think that's just for the case of if they don't group. If they group, one ult should be enough, personally, aside from the tanks, obviously. But she's a shadow of her former self. The lifesteal, they nerfed it on the ult. I believe the damage they nerfed on the ult. They nerfed a lot of things. Again, she's still okay, but I just feel like she could be better, and she should be better, because the level of skill and difficulty you have, especially when you have to go in, and it's so easy to counter, just CC her, you know, you kind of get shut down to Samira pretty easily. She's a hard-ish AD, so I really hope they buff her in a significant way here. While Samira experts are actually performing fairly well, we'd like to open up success to more of her player base. Oh, what the fuck is this? This attack speed buff should be helpful for anyone who can't reliably combo into Inferno Trigger in a fraction of a second, and for any games where jumping into enemy team would be met with instant death. Which at that point, you're kind of, I don't want to say wrong, but you're kind of ruining the pick for Samira, because that's what she's supposed to do to get full value out. She's not like an auto attacker or like a spell slinger like Lucian is. Well, oh god, I forgot what they're called. Like a caster AD like Lucian is. But either way, I guess it helps. It's literally 2 seconds. This is not a great change. It's okay, but I think they're overblowing this, so it's whatever. Skarner, this guy's 100% getting nerfed, even though, again, I don't know why. Skarner is more mobile than most tanks and has extremely potent engage and disengage tool in his E. So I guess it's in higher elos when your team actually does something if you engage. His E already has a built-in 35% cooldown reduction if he stuns a target with it, so the base cooldown has room to go up. And additionally, since Skarner is so mobile, he has room to lose some innate durability. Damn, nah, Skarner is tanky as fuck, I will say that. So the armor growth is going down by a little bit, and the stun duration is going... Wait, what? Wait. So, I understand the point of making him a little less tanky. That's fine. But they're saying the base cooldown has room to go up? What base cooldown here? They're just nerfing the stun duration. What cooldown? What? Unless this is a mistake, this makes no sense. Because sometimes it is hard to hit this shit, too. It's very telegraphed, but... Either way, I think this is a horrible change for Skarner. Swain! What do you think of Swain? I think Swain is still kind of ass, sadly. I think Swain is... Like, I don't know what it is. His ult is a lot better. They changed it to being infinite. They changed it to proc multiple times and explode. But overall, I think it's just like... I don't know what it is. His Q is giga buffed from what it used to be. If you look at Swain on reworked from to Swain to now... It's like night and day, he's way better. But for some reason, I still don't really care for him. I think his best spot is sadly support, which is weird. Because he's the Grand General. I don't expect him to be a support, right? He's a tactician, which I guess, you know, supports kind of do, but still. So Swain's last nerfs took him a bit lower than we wanted, so we're re-adding some power. To be clear, we're quite happy where Swain has a mix of viable item options as he's frontlining battle mage to surround himself with enemy champions, which is cool. I like his thematic. It's viable on-brand tank items are fine. Want to make sure the AP is also has a place. So, the max health is going up, so if you build AP, you're still a little healthy, which is good. And then the E, Nevermore, which I think should be... Actually, the W should be the biggest thing they rework personally, but... The E is going up by 10%. Pretty good. He's a little bit better. Teemo! I've actually been seeing a little bit more Teemo than usual, but... I don't really know why. I'm just kind of counting it to like people don't know what the fuck to go or they're trolling. But maybe Teemo's actually pretty good, but I don't know. I've beat the shit out of Teemo's personally. Teemo is too good at bullying top lane at the moment, which is what he's supposed to be. His stronger lever for reducing this upfront damage on his E, which he can apply frequently against melee matchups for the full poison can take out. This change dramatically reduces the on-hit damage at rank 1 and 2, but mostly balances out by level 5. Okay, so his extreme early game isn't as impressive. Okay. So the on-hit damage is getting, oh my lord, it's going from 14 to 9. That's honestly fine though. It's slightly nerfed in the late game by 1, but this is a-okay by me. If you're going burst Teemo, you're usually maxing Q, but that's like a dead thing for the most part. Everyone loves E Teemo because it's way more consistent. But I think this is fine. I think Teemo is a little bit less of a bully, but it's fine. Thresh, I think this guy needs to get buffed. It's kind of a similar situation to Evelynn, where overall, it's like, yeah, Thresh is really good, but you have to play so well on him, where it's like, why don't you just use someone like Seraphine? It's like Seraphine just like face roll your keyboard, and generally aim it in the enemy's direction. But either way, Thresh is cool, and we like it when he's good. Yeah, he's a great playmaker. So his health is going up, cool, and his E is getting slightly higher scaling. Cool. I think Thresh is one of the more interesting supports too, with just how his kit works, with how he does the soul mechanic. It's not as unique in today's day of League, but back then it was pretty unique. Before we had Senna, before we had Smolder, before we had, who the fuck else stacks with like souls? I guess Bard, technically. So I think he lost a little bit of his uniqueness, but I still think it's good. And he's one of the few supports that Well, I say few as if Leona doesn't exist, but he's one of the few supports that early on he could really beat the shit out of you. Like his E is no fucking joke sometimes. And his ult has high as fuck base damage. I believe his ult has the same base damage as Tristana's ult, which is high as shit. I believe it's 300. But buffs to Thresh are always welcome. I hope to see more tank supports in the bot lane. Viego. Viego is one of the best junglers because, I don't know. Like, they've nerfed him a lot, they've changed him a lot. I guess he's doing a little bit too much damage, so they're nerfing his damage slightly. Cool. Monkey! I think Monkey should have his time in the sun. I feel like Monkey just isn't a champion that's, like, good. I think he's silly. I think he's better than Shaco, and Shaco and him are both fun champions if you want to fuck with enemies, but I think overall, I don't know. I feel like Monkey doesn't deserve nerfs here, personally. He's also a little bit niche towards AD, too. I feel like against AP, he kind of gets shit on. But either way, Wukong has recently risen to become the king of the jungle. He's the coolest monkey in the jungle. We'd like to open up a bit more space in that role, so we're bringing down some of his more recent buffs that prove to be jungle skewed. So they want to keep top lane unaffected. So his W is going up, and that definitely affects top lane. It affects his jungle, I think, a lot more with the clear, but still. And his E is getting nerfed by 5%. How would this not affect top lane? Like, what? Okay. I mean, it does say relatively, but yeah, Wukong's slightly worse. I still think he's fine, though. And finally, moving on to support items. Bloodsong. Bloodsong and Zax, from what I know, this item used to be completely fucking busted, and they nerfed it, so let's see what's the problem now. It's performing too well on supports such as Poppy, who literally kill you, and Leona, who kill you as well. Which is kind of crazy, by the way. Excuse me. So the increased damage taken is getting nerfed by 2% for melee, which is the main problem it's an issue with. And the duration is nerfed too, so that's cool. Zax. This is getting nerfed as well. Cool. So they don't want the supports to really do too much damage, which I think is fine. And I think hopefully this, again, more incentivizes tank players to come back. But step in the right direction. I like this. Electrocute. So hopefully they make Electrocute stronger. And by contrast, I see down below Dark Harvest as well. I hope because the rest of the tree is kind of so shit in terms of damage that they overload the Keystone. That would be great, and it would lead to, honestly, I think, a lot more satisfaction with the Keystones, personally. Because sometimes I don't even notice some of these things. We're comfortable with the new Domination Vision Runes, which is weird because it doesn't really fit the theme. But for now, the Domination tree itself is still overall weak. So to balance that out, we're giving back some Keystone buffs. Let's go. So obviously they're buffing Electrocute for the early game. So instead of 50, it's going to 70. And then late game, it's actually going to 240. Holy shit, that's a decent buff too. Wow. Not bad. Pretty good. And then we have Dark Harvest. The biggest thing I want to see with Dark Harvest, I want to see a meta where junglers farm again. Sadly, I don't think that will ever be the case. I don't think that's ever going to happen ever fucking again. But, because they want, you know, high octane ganking and stuff like that. But man, I miss the eras where you could just farm jungles and get stacks like that. But sadly, Dark Harvest only stacks on champions. I think this is probably one of the worst runes in the game, except for certain people. And obviously in ARAM it's good, in AR Earth it's good, but I really feel like they gotta rework this shit. Dark Harvest, I almost see no one using this shit, because why would you? It's really not that good. Dark Harvest is getting a similar buff to Electric. They better make this thing scale like crazy. Getting 50% more damage in the early game, 25% more damage with scaling, making it a rune that requires early excellence in order to keep pace, and great rewards for those who overachieve. So the damage is going from 20 to 30 and 9 to 11 per soul. Honestly, it's getting decent. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty decent. It's just kind of hard to proc it sometimes, but this is a quote-unquote infinite scaling thing. I just wish the cooldown was lower, like maybe 20 seconds, 30 to 20 seconds. I think early game it's a lot longer, but I'm honestly not too sure because this rune sucks ass. But either way, that's good. Oh my god, and they're buffing 3-Cock Strike. So I believe 3-Cock Strike also, breaks the attack speed cap as well. So overall, of all the three, I think Hail of Blades was probably the strongest out of all of them. So it might honestly get buffed the least, but let's see. We know the cooldown buff will disproportionately affect ranged champions, so we're only bumping the attack speed for melee ones. So melee attack speed is going to 140, which is really fucking big. Holy fucking shit. And then the cooldown is going to 10 seconds. Overall, Hail Blades actually is really good. Holy fuck. Yeah, they weren't lying. Wow, they really fucked with the keystones here. This is good. I like that. Okay, finally, Swift Play. So let's see how this is doing. Overall, I like the idea of Swift Play. It is a really big difference, though, because now you have a game mode in League that's really not like the Pro Play anymore. The biggest thing I liked about League was regular games and pro games. They're the exact same. Nothing's really different. It's just player skill level. Now there's actual difference here, but it's minuscule, right? Things are just quicker. But I really hope they outline what's different here. But either way, this patch's Swift Play update has two core features. First, we're promising a hard cap on how long each game can go. What? What, do the Nexuses, get up and fight each other like they did in fucking Blitz? Either way, while 90% of games are over by 33 minutes on the clock, we don't want anyone to be stuck in a game for longer than 35, and the average game time is 24:45, could stand to go down some. We've heard the feedback that there's simply too much to do at all points in time, and you'd rather be fighting each other than epic monsters. Wow. Holy shit. On the game ending front, we've buffed minion scaling to more closely match how quickly champions earn golden XP. This way their health pool should weather champions' wave clear a bit better, and their sharper blades should cut down structures a bit faster. So the minions are going to end the game more than anything. That's a joke, but still. We've added a sudden death mechanic similar to one seen in Clash. What? At 25 minutes, structures will begin to lose resistances. At 27, everyone will receive a 3-minute warning. At 30, vulnerable structures will crumble. Over 1 minute, the expectation is that mechanic won't have to decide many games and will instead spur players to action. So that doesn't kill your Nexus, right? It just opens it up. For epic monster pacing, we've moved dragons back to normal 5-minute respawn and pushed Rift Herald back to the midpoint between Void Grubs and Baron. Wow. Wow. Yo, it really is Swift now. Holy shit. That's crazy. So game pacing updates. I don't know if this can't be just for Swift Play. I think this is for Rift, but minion scaling is now every 60. Melee minion reduced to match classic. Cool. Oh no, I think this is still for Swift Play. Never mind. So sudden death now exists. Cool, and we already read all this. Nice. That player interaction at 36 minutes, the game will end via the Nexus. Oh my god, so it does end. So you are literally, if you know how much time you have now, you can easily get into a game, and no matter what, you can guarantee it will be over. Wow. That's actually crazy. So what if the Nexuses are tied? What if no one has hit either Nexus and they both burn to 0? Do you tie? Or does just they pick winning at random? What? So dragon respawns, whatever. Summer spells, teleport, upgrade time to 8 minutes. Obviously, they want everything to be quicker. Cool. Cool. Champions, Fiddlesticks. So again, so this has to be just for Swift Play, because this would have been above. Wow. Okay, I'm not going over all this shit, but York is very good at just winning via split pushing. Wow, so they're fucking nerfing him. Well, they're nerfing his ghouls. Wait, actually. Oh yeah, no, they are nerfing his ghouls. Holy shit. And then Zoe is... Okay, who cares? Alright, Aram. Anything big here? Just slight changes. Cool. And then Static Shield is getting buffed. Nice. AR Earth. So the big thing is... The big changes patch to raise the attack speed cap from 2.5 a second up to 10. Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh, nah. So for those of you who don't know, in AR Earth, they give you 100% more attack speed just off rip. And I think for melees, I think that's either more or less. I know it's like, I think 50 to 100, at least 100 on someone. I think on range specifically, but holy fucking shit. This is actually crazy. So it went from 2.5 to 3 on Rift. It went to 10 here. Kog'Maw is not going to go AP anymore in this. He's going to go AD. Vayne, oh my dear Jesus Christ. I'm actually excited for this. Oh my god. This got me hard. So, that goes to 10. Dark Shield is re-enabled, but it's slightly nerfed. Magi's nerfed. Cull, for some reason, buffed. Heartsteel, slightly nerfed, but oh no, buffed. Oh shit. Okay, great. Champion nerfs, no one cares. Champion buffs, just Yumi. Mythic Shop. Fuck the Mythic Shop. Bug fixes. Oh, this is a big one too. I'm surprised they put this down here where people would miss it. This is a huge thing. Wait, there's actually a couple things here. What the fuck? So first of all, this is really sleeper. Holy shit. All sources of damage amp now increase all true damage except Smite and Jungle Pet. So basically, PTA got a huge fucking buff. Now, granted, you know, I think his vein you'd still go lethal, especially with the new attack speed thing. But, yeah, no, PTA is pretty fucking good now. Pets no longer draw minion aggro to their owner. Huge fucking buff for Yorick. Huge fucking buff for maybe, the Fury as well. At least Spiderlings no longer grant stacks as Spear, so, or Shojin. So at least slight nerf, but whatever. Varus's QW and Aatrox's Q Sweetbot now use the cosmetic crit icon. That's great. Excuse me. And then a bunch of other stuff I probably don't need to read. But yeah, no, those beginning ones are crazy. Either way, upcoming skins, still with the Asian theme. We have Dumpling Darlings Amumu, which is basically a skin I think related to Cafe Cuties, but Amumu has a nice new skin where his head is filled with food. I think that skin is pretty funny, honestly. And then we have Dumpling Darling Syndra, which is pretty hot. I thought that was like a Leona skin for a second, but I think we're getting to big issues now with the skins, where it's like these skins, sometimes they don't look like they're champions, at least from the splash arts. Some of the splash arts are getting to be like too overlapped with each other. The end games are still fine though, unlike other games. Marvel Rivals. But either way, we have the chromas here, which are looking pretty decent. I think these skins are okay. Obviously more Asian theme, but at least it's only 2. Hopefully in the future we get a legendary Kog'Maw skin at some point or another. Either way though, that's the patch. I'm gonna be honest, this patch pretty much surprised me. Like, the buffs and the nerfs weren't anything crazy. Streamer mode's good. The attack speed cap is fucking huge. I'm so excited for that. In fact, I'm gonna play League right after this, so catch me live at Twitch.tv/Tecnics channel for that. I think things got settled down cool, you know, nothing overtly crazy. No, like, crazy buffs or nerfs, just standard, like, general numbers. But, yeah, and this fucking weird-ass thing, too. I mean, you know, it's nice, but it's like, what the hell? Overall, though, I think the biggest thing was the, like, updates to the attack speed and everything, and this, too, this was good. I'm honestly gonna give this patch, I want to say, especially because of the Earth change, even though that shouldn't really matter to me, but it does, and the buffs to the true damage and everything, I'm honestly going to give this patch like an 8 out of 10. If they ever change the TFT thing or they make the passes better, even though it has nothing to do with gameplay, I'm probably going to give that patch like at least an 8, maybe a 9 out of 10. But for now, I honestly am really excited for these changes. I don't think I've been this excited in a little bit. And I'm going to give this, again, a solid 8 out of 10 Mark Merrills. Either way, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope you guys watch me live at Twitch.tv/Tecnics channel if you want to see more of me. And I hope everyone has a good one. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks when we do this whole shit again. Eee!